The Buccaneers Observer, Ralph Phillips. Guys, I want you to know all the sacrifice I put in to doing this. I haven't even showered. Give me my kudos. I've actually spent the past 2 days working on this game film, and I still haven't got all the way through it. I'm like a quarter through the fourth quarter. But I got most of it done. A lot to cover. We got a lot to go through. So we're going to have to blaze through this. I wish I could have got the fourth quarter done. I was working. I just stopped. Like I said, I haven't taken a shower or nothing. Been trying to get this done. Of course, I didn't start until 3. Been busy, new baby, all that good stuff. What's up, Craig? Tom? Yeah, so like I said, got all the way up until I'm so nasty. Because I haven't showered. Molly was saying the other day, she said, our oldest daughter, she was like, if she doesn't take a shower, her hair gets greasy. If she doesn't take a shower every day. And I was like, yeah, that's how I am too. You never noticed that? Molly can go like a week without showering her hair. Her hair actually dries out if she showers. For me, it gets greasy quick. But yeah, so I haven't showered. I stink. I'm sweaty. I'm sitting in this room. It's 78 degrees in here. Computer's going. What is going on, everybody? So yeah, found some interesting stuff. Well, thank you, Craig. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, the Thursday, Molly had our baby Thursday. And then Rashad, what's up, man? Oh, Rashad, I heard about the fans there. Yeah, I heard they're good. They were just going nuts and crazy. People were saying that fan base is really, they got like 40 years of pent up frustration of not winning, and now they're just letting it all out. Man, what a horrible game to go to, Rashad. So yeah, wasn't able to get much. I did like a quarter of the game film yesterday, and then today I got all the way up through the fourth quarter, like I said, about 25% through the fourth quarter. So I haven't got it all done, but I have found some interesting stuff. Now we saw things during the broadcast. I think some of the stuff we talked about was the slipping and sliding, right? And the just strange falling down. The turf monsters really got us. The Mayfield being very inaccurate with a lot of his throws. Obviously, we talked about the offensive line, and I was like, I really want to look at the offensive line and see if it was as bad as it appeared. Let me see, what were some of the other things? I can hear babies crying, so it's kind of throwing me. We were like running into each other, a lot of miscommunication on the receivers' parts. There was issues with the referees. There was a lot of stuff that we pinpointed, but there's something that I think is the major reason why we lost. Now, all those things contributed, although some of them were not as bad as I thought they were. The slipping and sliding seemed to calm down after the first half. The Lions did slip and slide a little bit. I thought that they didn't. So they did a little bit. So it wasn't just us. And the referees, there was a few things that I saw that, they didn't catch, but not that bad, not as bad as I thought. And the one play where Dean was called for illegal contact. That was just complete BS play, and we'll break that down here in a second. But the uncalled penalty for pass interference, defensive pass interference on the Mike Evans broken collarbone play, they didn't call that one. But other than that, the refs were not. It didn't seem like they were as much of a contributing factor as I expected. Mayfield being off was about what we saw on the broadcast. But the biggest factor as to why we lost was coaching. I don't know what we did all week long, but I know what they did. They knew our team inside and out, man. I tell you what, they schemed some of the greatest stuff, and we'll look at some of it, but they out-coached the crap out of us. It was amazing. I said, why did Baker Mayfield not scramble any, right? Remember I said that? The Lions were in man coverage a lot, the vast majority of the time, but Baker never scrambled. He did it that one time in the first, and remember he just fell down out of nowhere. But after that, no scrambling. And I was like, why did he not scramble all game long? They were giving him the perfect opportunities. You know, they were in man coverage, downfield, had their backs turned and all that good stuff. He was being spied the whole game. They kept a spy on him almost the whole game. And their defense, I tell you what, they game planned for this game so well, and we didn't at all. Offensively, this was probably the most vanilla game we played. It was very what's the word? Uninspiring? It's very predictable. Let's put it that way. It's not like us at all. It was very bland routes and play calls. And some of them didn't make no sense. Some of them looked busted, but their defense was catered 100% to our team. And Rampage had pointed out that he sent me some stats about how Todd Bowles never takes out the opponent's best player, and how the best player on their team always gets a lot of yardage and stuff with us. He never schemes to stop their best player. And I was like, yeah, no, he never schemes. He doesn't seem to adapt his defense to his opponent. You know, he just tries to be mysterious with his defense, and he figures he's going to get you that away. It doesn't matter who you are. But they crafted their whole defense to our offense. They double teamed Egbuka the whole game, and when they didn't double team him, Baker tried to throw it to him, and a couple times he succeeded. But almost every time you saw him throw to Egbuka, it was because that was the only time Egbuka wasn't being double teamed. They kept a spy on Mayfield almost the whole game. Normally it was 55, who he's really good. Their linebacker, 55, Derek Barnes. But they did other guys too. They had that Al-Qadim Muhammad, he spied sometimes. There was Jack Campbell spied sometimes. But they almost always had a spy on Baker Mayfield, so he couldn't scramble. And what they did with our offensive line played a lot better than I thought. Of course, like I said, I'm just now getting into the fourth quarter. Actually, there's only 2 more offensive possessions left, but our offensive line did pretty good. But what they did is they kind of created chaos and made it look like they were busting through, even though they were. But it made Baker Mayfield kind of panic a little bit. You know how he gets little phantom stuff, and he would shift outside the box. And when he would do that, the spy would come at him. I tell you what, it was really interesting watching it, how much effort they put into shutting our offense down. And their offense, it was like they knew our weaknesses inside and out. They never ran towards Vita Vea. Never. They always ran towards Logan Hall. And mainly towards the right side of the thing. But they figured out these packages where they would get our whole defense to go left, and then they would throw a swing pass to the right. Or they would get our whole defense to go right, they'd throw a swing pass to the left. They just knew our team. They spent a lot of time planning for this game. I don't feel like we spent any time planning for this game. This game meant a lot to them. But it was coaching. It was coaching. We got out coached. I was very surprised at how much they put into it and how little we did. So anyhow, what do y'all say? What's going on? Yeah, I did all the work, man. Casey Rogers is in Detroit, so he knows. He knows our team. Yeah, good point. What's up, Pryor? Yes, Stephen. And not only that, they made a blueprint for. We're going to start seeing this a lot. Spy Baker Mayfield, double leg bouquet, and and also just because a lot of times they were not breaking through the line, but making it look like they were coming through, and that would spook Mayfield just enough to where he would, drift outside the pocket or, kind of boot out, and then the spy would come at him, and he would have to get rid of the ball. So he ended up throwing in a panic quite a bit, but it's a blueprint. We're going to start seeing it a lot. I'm telling you. We are going to start, and we're going to have to figure out some way to beat that. What else did they do? Let me see. We'll look at it all here in a second. But it just seemed like they knew our weaknesses, and they knew exactly what to do, where to go. Those swing passes killed us. Killed us. Oof. I mean, we did have issues with communication, a lot of miscommunication on our part. Guys running wrong routes, Baker Mayfield off target, guys running into each other, stuff like that. We just didn't seem prepared for this game. And they seemed very prepared for this game. I'm looking for my notes, and I'm looking at the wrong sheet. I'm like, what is this? Their defense blitzed a lot too, much more than I remember. But they spied Mayfield, even on the blitzes. It was pretty interesting, and they disguised their blitzes very good so that Mayfield was not able to call a hot. And he would have nobody to throw it to because we'd have these long routes going on while there's a blitz coming in his face. But I tell you what, Egbuke, he's the real deal, man. We're going to see some stuff here. I'm going to show you some stuff. I was like, whoa, this guy's good, man. I like Egbuke. Yeah, so they spied Baker. They played man. They doubled Egbuke. Even when Mike Evans was there, they were doubling Egbuke and disguising their blitzes. Those were the key things they did. And we're going to be seeing that for the rest of the year, I bet. Our run blocking was not that bad. It's just Rachaad White's just not that guy. He wasn't making good decisions sometimes. And he would brace for impact instead of try to avoid getting hit, But our offense was very vanilla. Swing passes killed us. But it was like their offense knew all of our weaknesses on defense and it just attacked. And like I said, they just always kept away from Vita. They just kept the ball away from Vita. And we'll see. There's a reason why, too. You'll see. Vita was causing a disturbance, but let's look at some stuff. Now, I don't have all this stuff laid out, so we're just, like, again, we're just going to have to go through it chronologically. I'm going to pull stuff out. I'd like to have it. I didn't have time to set it all up, but just show like the spying and the disguise blitzes and all that. So we're just going to have to point it out as we come across it. All right. I picked up Tez in fantasy too, Gotti. I dropped Mike Evans. I know he's going to be back in week 8, but my the money league, the playoffs start in like week. He won't be back in time. Let's put it that way. So, what's up, Zebra? Molly, what's going on? Yeah. We both sides of the ball got really outcoached bad. I know the O line did surprisingly well. It's they were. It looked like they were getting pressure, but they weren't. I mean, they did every now and then, of course, but it felt like they were. And so Baker would kind of freak out and scramble a little bit. And that's what they were trying to do. So, just get him playing a little frantic. What's up, Joey? Yeah, I'm ready to move on too. But, I love all 22 like this because it's just, there's so much to learn, Desmond Watson is a hero in the playoffs. Yeah, Baker was definitely off his game. Definitely. He had some bad off-target throws. But he was seeing stuff out there that I don't know if he's ever seen before. All right, let's look at some of this stuff. Here we go. All right. Let me make sure I got everything set up. Oh, and this is a Hassan Riddick play. Good one. He beats a tight end. He gets a hit on the quarter. Oh no, okay. He beats this tight end. He gets a hit on the quarterback. Woo, look at that, nice one. He kind of throws the guy, pushes him back, gets him off balance here. See, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Get these guys. This was the first defensive series. All right, next one. Here's a good block by Payne Durham. Let me see. Where's he at? Right here. Okay. Yeah, it's a great block. I think it's on 34. Yeah, boom, look at that. Drives him way out of the hole. Boop. Gets him way over here. Good job, Payne Durham. At least it's not a cut block, right? He can block without doing a cut block. See, this is what I'm saying. Great run blocking here. Look at this, man on man. Look, even 81's got his guy locked up. Now, White could go this way. That's going to be a tough one. Or he could shoot this away and try to beat this guy. But what does he do? He braces for impact and runs straight into this guy. See? Boom. It was pretty cool, though. That's the one the announcers were like, dang, welcome to the NFL, rookie. But he did that all night. There's a couple plays that really aggravated me because I'm like, if Bucky Irvin would have been in, that would have probably been a touchdown or at least a first down. But because it was Rashad White, it was a tackle for a loss. Okay, now this one, I thought that Baker Mayfield got up and yelled at the sidelines because he couldn't hear. But he wasn't. he was yelling at the referees. And I figured this out because let's see, where's he at? Okay, here he is. He's running and he just falls out of nowhere. Turf Monster gets him. Very strange one. And you can see he gets up and I thought he's pointing to his helmet in the broadcast. You can see he's like pointing to his helmet, but he's not. I thought he was talking to the sideline, but he's not because our sideline's over here. He's talking to the ref and he's upset because this guy kicks him, knees him in the head. Right there. Bam. He gets kneed in the head right there. Wow. Right there. And so he gets up and he's yelling at this ref, and he actually turns and yells at this one too, real quick. Or no, this one. I think this one. Yeah, right there. But he's pointing to his head because he's like, hey, I just got kneed in the head, dude. And of course, they didn't call it. Okay. This play, I'm not sure what. It looks like a busted play. Breedison gets a pancake here. That's nice. Barton gets beat by 94 for a pressure. 94 gets up asking for a holding call, but I didn't see it. So let me see. Breedison gets a pancake. This looks like a busted play to me. Barton gets beat by 94. 94 is a pretty good player. Oh, wait, where's 94? Okay, here's 94. But 94 is calling for a holding, and I don't know. Maybe he's holding him right here. Yeah. I don't know. But you can see 94 gets up. You can't really see it too good, but right here he gets up and he's asking the ref for a holding play. And then here's Breedison with a good pancake. Right here. Get down. I love it. Boom. Turf Monster gets him. And he gets it raw. He gets a knee right in the helmet. Whack-ack right there. And they did little stuff like this all through this game. I mean, this to me looks intentional. Wow. I mean, he intentionally knees Mayfield in the head right there. Just little stuff all game long they do. And, that brings me to another point. Mike Evans got laid out, a broken collarbone and everything. Our guys, I really would have wished our guys would have retaliated and just get some unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. It was almost like we got bullied. I mean, you don't break the star player's collarbone and get no repercussions. I mean, even if it wasn't on purpose. Okay, watch this with the egg bouquet. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Yeah. This is so pretty. Here's egg bouquet. He jukes this guy out. Man. Okay, here he comes. Here's the guy covering him. Whoop. Look at that. And see the double team here? All game long, it was like this. I wish Baker would have thrown it anyhow because he just jukes this guy out. This guy right here. And you can see this guy's looking at him. But whoa, right there. And then he's gone. I mean, look at this separation he's got on this guy. That guy had no idea what was happening. And I wish Baker would have thrown it anyhow, thrown it towards these hash lines deep. But it is what it is. All right, we got some Grant Stewart in here. You know, y'all remember Grant Stewart was with the Detroit Lions? Yeah, you can notice him. He's number 15. He's got the glowing locks. He hits 81 Miller so hard he lifts him up off his feet, and they clashed on almost every special teams play. And Grant Stewart just constantly got the best of him. Here's 81. Here's Grant Stewart. Stewart comes in, just tears him up. Oh. Wham! Look at that. He lifts him completely off the ground. Here's, you can see Miller's foot right there, and there's his other foot. He is completely off the ground. Grant Stewart just comes in, blam! But then Miller gets the good, positions his feet back under him. So, and you see they turn around and kind of jaw at each other. They had clashed on the second kickoff too. They patted each other on the butt, but they, like almost every special teams play, they go at it. And Grant Stewart got the best of him every time. Grant Stewart was a beast on special teams for us. Here's a nice Levante David. It's like a brick wall right here. He's got let me see, 87 pulls, and somebody else pulls 2. And Levante expects that guy to be trying to block him, and he doesn't. But then Levante walls up on 87 and just clobbers him. Okay, yeah. So this guy pulls right here, the right guard, and that's who Levante thinks is going to get him. But the guy like chickens out at the last minute and goes this way. See right there? And you see Levante's bracing for impact. Well, you got 87. He's pulling behind, and he goes up against Levante and just gets clobbered. Kaboom! And Levante again makes the tackle. Tyke Smith, great job right here, reading and reacting on this one. There he is. He comes in. Woo, boom! Nice play. Nice play, Tyke. Now, this is Montgomery, number 5. He's not that good, and he's absolutely terrible in pass protection, which we'll see here. Oh, here we go. This is one of them. Here's Montgomery tries to block Levante David. Doesn't work out too well for Montgomery in pass protection. Booyah! And David's able to get the pressure. And here comes Vita. So this is the start of the game, and I mean we're in the first quarter, and the defense was doing pretty good. They played stout, but they were just getting outcoached. Right here, 94. Remember I talked about him. He's pretty good. He pushes Jordan straight back into Mayfield here. I think this guy's name is Makey Wingo. He's the third stringer. But he pushes Jordan back into Mayfield's lap in 2.32 seconds, which is quite impressive. Let's look at it from the other angle so we can see it better. Right here. Yeah. Baker had to get rid of it. Dude was coming. So he just chunked at the mic. That's how I do too. Safety valve. So yeah, he just gets pushed straight back. Just gets stood straight up, push back. Off target throw by Baker. But surprisingly, that didn't happen as much as I thought. Here's a nice pick play by Mike Evans, and he completely frees up Cade Otton. That's a really nice pick play. Boop, right there. Look at that. Otton is completely free, which we didn't, in man coverage, you want to do stuff like this, and we just didn't do it a lot. And I don't know why, because we were very successful with it when we did do it. We did not game plan for this very well at all. And look, off-target throw again. Look at all this room Otton had to run if that would have been a good pass. I think it might have got tipped. Now, if you look, ball is tipped by 55, Derek Barnes. And if you look, this is one of the reasons why the ball kept getting tipped in this game too, is because they had a spy on Baker Mayfield. 55 is spying Baker Mayfield here. So he always kind of stayed lined up with how Baker is going to throw. And when Baker threw, they would jump up, bat the ball down. I think this 55 Derek Barnes had 2 or 3 tipped balls. And he was the one spying most of the time. Where's he at? I think he's right here. Is that him? Yeah, see? See? He's just spying. And then boop, jumps up, tips the ball. So you can see it here. And it was interesting because they would line up like they were going to rush, and then they would fall back into spy mode. And they did that a lot in this game. What's up, Marty Rules? Oh, yeah. The Dean illegal contact, completely 100% BS call. I've got the rule book and everything. We got robbed on that one. Okay, here's one of the examples of Devin White or Rashad White. just not being that guy. Okay. So it's a screen pass. Or you can even say a pass to the flats. 77's running out, right? He's got to try and get out here and block this guy. So what you want is White to catch the ball and then come this way, right? That's the plan. Well, and Hutchinson might have got a piece of this. It looks to me like he did, but it doesn't really change the trajectory that much. And right here, White catches the ball and he lands, but instead of spinning or running this away like he's supposed to do, he braces for contact. Look, right there. He braces for contact. He's not trying to avoid contact. I'm like, ah. So it ends up being a tackle for a loss instead of, at least try. At least try. At least try to get out of it, man. All right, let me see. Here we go. We got Logan Hall gets a good tackle here off the block. Let me see. The tight end tries to block him. Yeah, here we go. So tight end tries to block Logan Hall. He just shoulders him and then gets the tackle. All right. Good job, Logan Hall. Don't get them offered from him. I'm not sure exactly what happens here with 92. Right here. He gets, I don't think he's being held, or I do think he is. You can't really see it, but right here, the guy's got, it looks like part of his shoulder pad. And he's turning, but 92, watch it. 92 like spins and drops this guy straight to the ground. This guy like his face bounces off the ground. Look at this. Right here. He just, boom, bam. And then he gets up and he is stunned. He's like, what? Expect to see little like birdies flying around his head or something. Watch it in real time. Here it is. I don't know what. I have looked at as many different angles as I could to figure out what happened there, but I just can't. But it does look like he was holding 92. I didn't write it down as an uncalled penalty, which there were surprisingly not that many in this game. I expected to see a lot of uncalled penalties, but I didn't. But because I couldn't see the hold, I didn't really. Here's Vita beating this guy for the tackle. Boom. He's going down the line, shoulders him. Controlling the block the whole time. Boom. That's how you do it. Tackle for a loss. You try to run away from Vita. Sometimes you just can't do it. This one, this is the fourth down that they went for it in the first quarter. This is right before the end of the first quarter. And man, do we get lucky. I tell you what, this should have been a touchdown. We get confused in man coverage by this motion right here. This motion confuses the crap out of us because apparently he calls, I'm going to take this guy, and he doesn't hear it. And they both end up going for that guy. See? And then right at the last second, McCullum realizes, says, oh, crap. McCullum's following this guy. And you can see he says right here, I'm going to take this guy. You take that guy. McCullum doesn't hear it or see it or whatever. And it leaves this guy wide open. But lucky for us, Goff never looks over there. Because if he would have, this would have been a touchdown. And this right here was just a bad pass by Goff. It was just a little too long. There's nothing we did there. It's busted coverage, everything. Okay, this one. Is Tej Johnson was gone for a touchdown. Look at this. Look. He was gone. Now, what Baker did, Baker had planned on throwing to White this whole time. He looks over here, and we got a play set up over there. I think it's a screen. Let me see. No, it's just this out. But he's looking over there the whole time. And then he just whips around and throws it to White. He pump fakes right there. Draws all these guys over here. And even he's going over there. And Tej Johnson just splits them, and he's gone. I mean, this would have been a touchdown. And then Baker just throws the pass here, and we get a little bit of yardage there. But that's one of those you're just like, ah. All right, here's another Vita beating this guy for a tackle for a loss. Vita is really the only. I mean, we got some good players. Look at that. He just whoops this guy. That's his guy right here. And here's Vita. Vita is legs up in the air, landing on a guy. He loves to do that. All right, here's Vita. Here's the guy that was supposed to be blocking him. Vita is by far the most elite and consistent player we got on our defense. I like most of the guys on our defense. Some of them not a big fan of, but Winfield, Tyke Smith, Parrish is really growing on me. I love Levante, but nobody is. Without Vita, we would just be getting our butts kicked constantly. Okay, here's another one where we blitz, and Montgomery, right here, he gets beat by Servassier. Just whoop, and then Servassier gets the sack. Yeah, that Montgomery is as horrible at pass protection. Right here. Just got right around him. I don't even know if he touched Dennis. So here's a different formation with our special teams. I was so happy to see this. We're just doing something different here. We got like off-ball linebackers back here. We're definitely playing to block the kick, or not block the kick, but get some good return. So I just wanted to point that out. It was nice finally seeing a little bit of thought into our special teams, although it didn't really do much. But let's see if we can see 81 and Grant Stewart going at it. I'm sure they are on here somewhere. Here's that Derek Barnes. He goes up against Wirfs here, and he actually gets the better of Wirfs with a nice hand swipe right here, right there. And he got Wirfs off balance right there. And then he was going to zip around, but Baker Mayfield got rid of the ball. That Barnes is good. 55. He's a good player. Miscommunication here. We got Tez Johnson. He's down here. Baker Mayfield definitely expected it to be a go ball. Tez stops. Ball ends up laying away out here. We're doing Jimmy's and Joe's right now. Wirfs almost gets a pancake on 96. Muhammad. Boom. Nice hand play right there. Yanks him down. Just whoop right there. Zip. Almost pancaked him. But you know how Wirfs is. He's a big teddy bear. Here's that play where Payne Durham comes across. He goes in motion and he goes to block. He goes to block. I think that might be Hutchinson, and just falls down. His toe gets right here. His toe gets caught in the turf, and he just falls. It's so embarrassing. It's like, you're supposed to be a professional. And then he ends up making the tackle. But Jordan gets beat here. Right there. And then he gets pushed in the back by this guy. So he ends up on the dirt too. Okay, here is another one of those screenplays. Scream. I think we pointed this one out yesterday. Yeah. He throws at the mic over here on this out, and it's just so annoying. This was a 3rd and 6. Here's the marker. And, he throws it here when he's got this wide open. Busted coverage on their part. That would have been a first down minimum. And we don't even get to play here because Mike gets pushed out of bounds. Not the best decision in the world. Read the field, Baker. This one too, we watched this one yesterday or Tuesday. This is the one where Ron Miller gets pushed way back into the kicker. Kaboom, look at that. Miller, man. And that wasn't even Grant Stewart that did that. Okay, this one was a penalty, and this is what I'm talking about. There was a bunch of little stuff that they did that was just very dangerous, you know? Okay, for one, this guy comes over, leaps in the air, and hits 8 in the back. And look, he's off his feet right here. Right? I mean, it's just dangerous. But then 11, he gets called for a penalty here. He pushes Parrish in the back and pushes him forward. And you see Parrish slide, and he ends up whack taking out all these guys right here. And they just did stuff like that this whole game. And Winfield gets poked in the eye right here. Though I doubt if that was intentional, but you can see Winfield right there. So on that play alone, there was 3 things that were like very dangerous that they did. Okay, here's the call where Dean gets called for illegal contact, and this is such a BS. All right, this guy, the receiver, it's this guy right here. Now you can see where he's lined up. All right, let's look at this. You can see there's like a line in the turf right here. He's on that side of it. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but there's like a line. It's a little like a white line. So he's on that side of it to start. If you watch, Dean never crosses over this. He never crosses over that line. All right. So the rule is a defender is allowed to use his arms and hands to protect himself from getting hit by a receiver. This is Section 4, Article 3. It says, defender may use his hands or arms only to defend or protect himself against impending contact caused by a receiver. Now, if you look, Dean never got in this guy's way. This guy ran into Dean. And Dean had every right to put his hands up and put his arms up, which is what he did. If you see right here, this guy starts off over here and he comes and he goes like this, and then he goes back this way. But he heads straight towards Dean. And Dean puts his hands up right there. And Dean gets knocked down. Now, if you look, Dean never steps over into that guy's path. That guy ran into him. Dean was trying to turn right here to run down the field with him. And that's when the guy hits him. But that guy starts off, you can see right here, he's heading towards Dean right there. Dean was perfectly in the right here. That guy hit him. Dean put his hands up. I mean, it's such a BS call. And this was on a 3rd and 6. And they ended up, I think the very next play, they got the, I think, yeah, this is the play where they got the 78-yard run. And this would have, Todd Bowles said that it was a bad run fit. Somebody didn't get in their gap. I don't know what he's talking about. I have watched this probably 30 times trying to figure it out. Everybody's in their gap. We just get blocked. That's all. He's got this gap. He's got this gap. He's got this gap. And they all play it exactly right. They just get blocked up. And he even comes in. He just doesn't make it there. He comes around the edge like he's supposed to. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to, except getting off blocks. And you can see it from the next angle. Now there might have been holding on this, but if it'd be ticky-tacky, I think. The only problem I have is 95 did not reach out to try and slow down to get an arm on Gibbs here. See, Gibbs runs right there. He should have stuck his arm out because his arm was free. You'll see it come out right there. And this guy's got him hugged up. You can see an arm here and an arm there. So he's got him hugged up, but it's not holding. This guy got the same thing on David. I've looked at it from the broadcast angles and everything. You could have called it holding and it would have been just, everybody would have been like, yeah, okay. Or you could have not called it holding. Everybody's like, yeah, okay. It's just right on the line. But see, everybody just gets blocked up. They just get blocked up. And then he pops through. Boop. This is the one play where you could definitely say we got beat on that one. Yeah, this is the one where Mike breaks his collarbone. Definitely should have been called pass interference, but there's something even worse here. Now, Mike caught this ball, and this is a 2nd and 5, right? So Mike did catch this ball, and if he would have held on to it, it would have been way downfield. But, and this is just, and the reason why they did it is because they're doubling Egbuke here, and Mike is left single coverage, so you're going to take that every day. But you could have thrown this, and that would have been a first down easy. Or you could have thrown this, would have been a first down easy. But, of course, you're going to go for this, one-on-one, Mike Evans downfield. It's just a shame. Just a shame. It hurts. Now, this is a 3rd and 5. This is the very next play after Mike breaks his collarbone. So 96, Muhammad, I think this is him right here. He spies Mayfield. And then see how it looks like they're coming through? Okay, it wasn't. It's this guy. This guy. That's 96. Right? See, he acts like he's going to come in and rush. Then he steps back and he just spies Mayfield. Now, see, 62. They're struggling right here, but they got it under control. Mayfield steps out of the pocket, and that's when this guy comes. They did this all night long, and then Mayfield's like, crap. And then boom. And I'm always a believer that once the quarterback starts to scramble, the sack is never on the O-line because they don't know what's going on back there. They don't know what direction to block. But as soon as he steps out of that box, the spy comes after him. They did this all night. It was very effective. And, Mayfield didn't have to scramble. It looks like the line broke down, but they got it under control. But you could tell Mayfield, he brought the ball down and he was getting ready to run right there. Then he's like, oh, no. And then he was like, oh, okay, I'm going to go this way. Nope, nope, nope. Bam. He just couldn't scramble all night. Very, very, very good. It was a fantastic game plan. Okay. More special teams. I know y'all love the special teams. I'm like the only person in the world that likes to watch special teams. Okay, so we get the ball. Here we go. We got the runner. He's coming. This is a kickoff. They just scored a touchdown. And boom, he's coming. Guess who it is? Grant Stewart. Right? Well, he misses it, but they get tackled, right? Now, look, the play is going on. Right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on our guy pushing. The whistle has not been blown yet. And we've got this guy standing here. This guy turns around and walks off the field. This guy's standing here. Let me see. He comes running in, and then 98 comes running in too. But, I mean, look, he's just standing there. That's Bullock. He's one of the ones I've talked about, 57. And this guy, 45, like walks off the field as the play's still happening. Look, he's walking off the field. 82 comes in. He tries to help it. And then 98 comes in. And then the whistle blows about right here. Yeah, here comes 98. But I was like, what in the world are y'all doing? So if you watch it in real time, he avoids all contact. He like spins out. 45 does. And then he just walks off the field. As the play's going on. Like, man, our special teams. It's not so special. It's special in the long bus kind of way, right? Okay, they did this a lot too. Logan Hall, you know, I've got my issues with him, but especially in run blocking, he's just so easy to move out of the way. See, look, he's being moved out of the way. And they know this. They knew this. They did this like all game. And they would just push him out of the way and then run right at him. And, you know, that was a single block. You know, it's not like he's getting double teamed and pushed out of the way. Just a single guy. And they knew it. They knew it. All right. Here we go. Otten is open right here. Right? Mayfield is looking downfield. He's looking at this, hoping this guy's going to split these safeties, apparently. I don't know. But Otten's open. He ends up throwing it to Otten, but it's way late. Way late. See it right there? And then it's in front of Otten. And I don't know what happens here. Otten slows down like he's expecting to just stop. And Mayfield's expecting him to keep running. That's why Otten has to stretch out for it. But worse than that, and I don't know why this happened, but Egbuke is wide open. And you could see Baker right. If Baker right here would have just thrown it right there, that would have been sweet. Yeah, Barton does need to step it up. Yeah, he's had a rough year, man. Okay, Elijah Roberts got quite a few snaps in this game. I like him. He's starting to grow on me. I like both the Elijahs. Look at that. He whoops this guy. He just whoops him like immediately. Whoop, whoop. And he gets that tackle for a loss. Come on, get him, get him, get him. Parrish gets in on this one too. Right here, he gets off of the block on 11. He just whoops him. Boom. You love to see that, man. You love to see it. And then number 11 tries to block Tyke Smith here. He regrets this one. Tyke shoulders it, bam, and it takes him to the ground. I love this. I love this. Tyke knows he's coming and just shoulders him like plants. This is a great hit too. Just whoop ow. Then hits him in the helmet right here. He's got his hand on his face and it takes him to the ground. Boom! They get up fighting, of course. Love to see that. That's the kind of stuff I like to see. I like to see our guys play tough like that. We had a few guys that were doing that, but then we had way too many guys that were just playing soft, you know. This is that interception by Dean. It's the exact same thing we saw last week where he drifted back into the seam route there. You know, this is what you do. You know, this type of zone, cover two. Dean drifted back, got it. But what we didn't see, is the reason why this happened, is because Goff had to get rid of it. Because guess who's coming? Big old Vita. He stunts, comes around. He ends up getting a hit. Look at that. Bam. Goff had to throw that ball. Bam. Let me see here. Yeah, okay. Here you can see guys spying on Mayfield again. I'm not sure what number this is, but you'll see they do it again. He just, you know, acts like he's going to rush, and then he'll step back and just stand there. And it has that extra benefit if it takes out an offensive lineman because he's got to keep an eye on this guy. He can't just like, you know, let him stand there. And then as soon as Baker looks like he's going to go somewhere, this guy attacks. I think that's 55. That might be 55. Okay, here is another example of spying on Baker, number 55 on this one. I'm not sure where he's at. It's so hard to read these numbers. Oh, yeah, here he is. Here he is. Same thing. They just did this like all game. It was smart. It was really smart. He acts like he's going to come in, then he just steps back and watches Baker. As soon as Baker gets outside, boom, he attacks. Look at that. And looks like he might have got a piece. He didn't. But he puts his hand up too. That's why there was a lot of tipped balls in this. But Baker couldn't scramble at all. This one's crazy. Special teams again. This is a dirty hit on 87. Not really dirty, but this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about where it's just the little small things. This guy just comes up and just forearms him right in the head. Well, bam! Right there. For no reason. Well, bam! Like, dang, man. What'd pain do to you? Probably cut blocked him. Here is more special teams. I know y'all love it. Ryan Miller and Grant Stewart going at it again. Mind you, they've been going at it like almost every special teams play. And this one, here's Grant Stewart and Ryan Miller. And Grant Stewart is just really good at special teams, and Ryan Miller is just really bad at it. I don't know whose ideal this was. I don't know if they're friends, and they're just trying to mess with each other or whatever. But Grant Stewart just tosses Miller here. Just tosses him out of the way. And unfortunately, we'll look at it from the end zone angle. That really, really hurt this run back, because here they are. And who's this? Cameron Johnson. Look at that hole. Look at that hole. He's going for it too. Unfortunately, because Stewart tosses Ryan Miller, he's able to close up that hole, or at least, make Cameron Johnson think twice about going up it. If Miller could have just kept this block, look at that hole, man. And Johnson was going for it too. That would have been a good run back, I think. Okay, this is one of the few times where we saw the blitz coming. Baker reads it. He sees it. Calls the right protection. See right there, he calls for a hot 15. And 15 does like a little whip route and comes. It's a really nice thing. But unfortunately, 55 is spying him and is able to jump up and bat the pass. Boop. It was a great defensive strategy, man. But that was one of the few blitzes that we saw coming before the snap. And we had a nice, and the hop was really nice. I like that little whip route. And it might have picked up some good yardage. Boom, but it never got to him. Like, 55, man. The Derek Barnes, he killed us. And this is that play. Tej Johnson scored the touchdown. This is just a beautiful run. I really like this kid, man. He catches it right here. He's got some blockers out in front of him. 77 just absolutely destroys this guy. This is really a key block. Blam, right there. Oh, gosh, he destroys him. And then Tez is going. He gets the jump. He jumps over that guy, hurdles him. That's beautiful. You got 81 just getting in the way out here. Tez gets by. Nice spin right there. Boom. That was all Tez Johnson, man. Well, with a little bit of help from 77. It was an excellent run after the catch, man. I really like this kid. He's very dynamic. I just worry he's going to get broken in half. But watch this block by Heck right here. He just kills this guy. He's just like, booyah! Booyah! Oh man, I can watch that all day. Poof! Oh, welcome to the NFL moment right there. And whoop! Love that. Love that. And then the spin move at the end, that's icing on the cake. Because this guy, I thought this guy had him. I thought this guy was going to clobber him. And then, nope. Whoop! Tez. I was kind of surprised he didn't do a backflip or anything. I wonder if they told him to not do that. I'll be very disappointed if that's the case. Now here's an example of the difference between Logan Hall and Vita Vea. Okay, so here's Vita over here. Of course, they're not going to run this way. They're going to run that way. Logan Hall, his guy slips and falls. It's this guy right here. Okay, this guy slips. Right there, see? See his foot's, he puts it on this guy's foot and slips. Whoop. So Hall right here, free shot. Tackle for a loss. Should have been, 100%. What's he do? Nope. So it's left up to Vita, who's being blocked, and he's watching. He looks on this side, and then he'll look on this side. That's what he does. And then he sees where the runner's going, and he tosses his guy. And there he is. It's like, peekaboo. He ends up not making the tackle there. He gets in on it. Just a big difference between the two. This one, I can't figure this one out. Levante David, who's always normally very good at reading the play, reads this one completely wrong. And it ends up being a swing pass to this running back here. And as you'll see, there's nobody near him. Look at this. There's nobody over there. Nobody. Levante David's over here. And he goes in that direction. He sees something. I don't know what it is. So here's Levante. He said, this guy goes into motion. And Levante sees it. And he has everybody shift right. And he's still looking there. But then he turns and runs over here. I don't know what he's seeing. But he read it wrong. He gets way out here and then realizes, oh, crap. And then he turns around. This guy's already got the ball. There's nobody out here. Great play design. I don't know what happened. I do know Riddick. They said on this play that Riddick got clobbered in the head, but he doesn't. He gets clobbered in the shoulder right here. See, this guy whips around, hits him right here, and knocks him down. Bam. Totally non-factor. Riddick is a complete non-factor in this play. It really hurts us. You know, the least he could have done was got in the way and tried to, bat the ball down or something. Nope, he's on the ground. He's not able to run out, catch the guy or anything. So really the only person who is on top of this is Dennis. And he can't get there. And fortunately for us, shoestring tackle right here. Winfield. This was just they just completely fooled our defense. Completely fooled our defense. And that don't happen that often. This one is very frustrating because this should not have been a touchdown. And Vita is so frustrated, and Yaya is too. They're very angry about this play. You can see, one, Hassan Reddick being blocked by a tight end. You know how that just aggravates the crap out of me. And this isn't one of those, I'm doing my job containing the edge. He's being blocked out of the play. Anyhow, here's the guy with the ball. He's coming. McCullum's got a dead shot on him. Dead shot. You can see Levante David's being blocked here, and he goes out, this guy ends up jumping over Levante. Here's McCullum. Here's the guy with the ball. Easy tackle. And he just completely whiffs. It's the weirdest thing on the planet. I don't know what that's all about. I mean, it's almost like he just, I don't know, like he puts his head down. He doesn't see, I don't even know where he's going. Where's he going? Why is he going this way? Why is he going that way? The runner's over here. So frustrated. But you'll see Yaya. Yaya is not happy. It's off screen. But then you'll see Vita is not happy either. We'll see that on the end zone angle. Yeah, so Levante goes. Dude's got to jump over Levante. And then just easy tackle. Easiest tackle he probably ever had in his life. And then I don't know. What is that? He actually ends up running into, who was that, Dennis? Bam. And then just, and you can see Yaya is pissed. He's like, what the? And then Vita's mad. Frustrated anyhow. 95's at mad. He's frustrated. They're all like, you got to be joking me. We had that one. Okay, this is an offensive series. We go 3 and out on this one, and a lot of it is because of crap like this. I don't know if this is a busted play or if it's I don't know what anybody's doing on this play. I have no idea. No idea. So you can see Baker does somewhat of a play action. It's almost like he expected Rashad to go this way. Don't know. Instead, Rashad goes this way. This receiver here, not sure who that is, he goes this way. Right there. Okay. Now you see Baker Mayfield runs and he throws it to Rashad. This guy immediately tackles him. Right? I don't know what this play is at all. Completely at all. I mean, if this was man coverage, I could see this route right here. If it went this way, bringing this guy with them to give you more space with this catch. But it's not man coverage, and you can see it from the beginning because they run motion and nobody goes. So you know it's zone. So here was the motion, and nobody went with him, right? Everybody stayed in their spot. So you know it's zone. And then this guy doesn't even pull anybody away. And then he runs this weird route where it's up like this, right? And then you've got White, right? We know what White's doing. But then you got Tej Johnson coming. He came down the line, and he's basically running the exact same route. What is this? I don't know. Why is 97 turned around blocking? There's no blockers out here. It's just a weird play. I mean, I don't know what is 15 doing. Why is he out here? You know, it's almost like, you know, if like you're going to boot left, which I'm not a big fan of to begin with, but all right, say you were booting left, okay, and you know, one of these guys were going to be the blocker. I don't think he would have Tej Johnson being the blocker. He's too small. So maybe Rashad was going to be the blocker, or it's a naked boot, and you're going to have 4 levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like he was going to come this way, Rashad coming this way, Tez going this way, and then you had whoever this is doing this crazy route, and he looks like he's going this way. So you had a boot with 4 levels? I don't know. With no blockers, 4 levels, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, very, very interesting, Marty. I don't know what this was. We ran a very, 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 very vanilla offense, much more so than we have all year long. And it did not work. I'm telling you, I don't think we put a lot into this game as far as game planning. I don't think we did. I think we kind of wrote this game off, to be honest with you. Which, you know, it seems like we do that with a couple games every year. And I think this was one where, you know, we're like, normally we'll do it with an out of conference game. I don't know. Here's a 3rd and 8. Okay. On this one, Servase Dennis is completely useless. And this is one where this is an example of it. It just seems like they know exactly what our defense is going to be, and they know exactly where the holes are at. You can see this is what I say, a 3rd and 8. Yeah. And so, of course, you know what we're going to do. We're going to line up all behind the sticks, right? Right. And Servassier, he drops back into coverage, and he's supposed to, his job is to stop the curls and the stops and the slants and all that crap. He goes to the wrong side of the field. Right? There's one guy over here. There's 3 guys over here. He goes to this side. And it leaves this guy with the stop route or curl or hitch, whatever you want to call it, just wide open. Servassier, I'm pretty sure, should have gone over here. But instead, he's over here covering absolutely nothing, just grass. And they, of course, get the first down. And look, they're all like, that wasn't a first down. It was a first down. But it was almost like with that play right there, it was so perfect the way they ran it that they knew what we were doing. They knew. I don't know if they knew if Servassier took the wrong side or what. I really don't know what happened there, but they perfectly were in the perfect spot, the perfect hole, the perfect place for that first down. I mean, we've watched enough that we all knew what defense we were going to run, but you wouldn't expect that hitch route to be just completely wide open like that. I honestly think Dennis took the wrong side. And this is, as you can see here, they run away from Vita. Here's Vita. They toss it. So he can get way out wide. And it's a good thing they did too, because Vita, of course, blows his guy up. And they run straight towards Logan Hall. I mean, Vita almost gets to him too, man. But again, Logan Hall's getting pushed out of the way. And then boop. They just did this over and over and over and over and over. Wherever Vita was, they tried not to be. And he almost got him there too. He beats his guy. If his arms were another 6 inches longer, a little bit of holding there. I didn't see that. Right there. I'm going to mark that down as uncalled penalty. Oh my gosh, it's 4 o'clock. All right, I think we are. Yep, that was right on time. That was the last play I had notes on. So, I might, if I get time, just do a short form video just showing how their defense and offensive game plan was just perfect against us. They really put a lot of effort into it, I feel like. And I think we're going to see, they did a blueprint that I think other teams are going to go, oh, well, I'll be darned. That's how you can beat these guys. The spy on Mayfield it really worked very well. We're going to have to figure something out with that. And Egbuka is the real deal, man. He jukes guys out, but it's so smooth. It's really almost imperceptible. I haven't seen a wide receiver juke guys out like that since Amari Cooper. And Amari Cooper is the best at it that I've ever seen. Amari could just juke guys out of their shoes. And Egbuka is just making guys look stupid. They're getting all spun around. He's getting 5-yard separation on them before they even realize what's going on. They're like trying to catch up with him. And you could definitely see that Detroit, Their goal was to not let Egbuke open. They did a couple times, and either Mayfield didn't see him or overthrew him. And it was just like, ah. Yeah. What do y'all got going on over here? Craig, yeah, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. Um, it did feel like to me, watching this game that we just didn't plan. They planned very well. So whatever our reason for not planning, we played a very vanilla offense. We didn't do any razzle dazzle like at all. The routes were very vanilla. And defensively, they just picked our weak spots and just pounded away at them, man. So it was very interesting to watch. I really expected to see our offensive line struggle really bad. They didn't. It was actually very shocking. I was like, gosh, it felt like Baker had guys in his lap the whole time. But it wasn't near as bad as I thought. The miscommunication was there. We talked about that. The overthrows or the off-target throws, they were definitely there. Baker didn't see the field well, I didn't think. He missed a few open receivers. Yeah, he just didn't have his best game. We'll chalk it up to that. But I think it was because he was kind of a little thrown off, The way they were playing, their defensive front was playing weird, and then they had that spy on him. He's not used to that. I mean, who spies Baker Mayfield? You save that for like Lamar Jackson, not Baker Mayfield. And then getting his passes batted down, and I think that kind of frustrated him too, caused him to start throwing high. But it kind of makes me feel a little bit better in the sense that our team didn't get whooped as much as it was, it wasn't the players didn't get whooped. Because that's really what I expected to see. Looking at this was just us get, the Jimmys and Joes to get beat up that way. But it wasn't really. Vita had a really good game. Again, I think Tyke Smith had a pretty good game. Jamel Dean didn't do bad. He had that interception with the exact same thing, but that was, again, largely due to Vita Vea in the face of Goff having to throw it up. But our players didn't play bad per se. It was really, we've just out schemed. Oh, did y'all see the big busts, the gambling busts? I don't think anybody in the NFL has gotten busted yet, but like the NBA and stuff, man. I'm like, ah. It might happen with the NFL. I don't know. I haven't really got a chance to look at the news or anything today. Like I said, I was up with the kids, and then as soon as I was able, I jumped on and started doing game film. So you've noticed that too, Marty? Yeah, it's like we just don't really care if we win that game almost, And that's what it felt like with this one. We just did not come in with the best game plan or the best headspace, I guess. I don't know. Don't know. I thought it was really fun watching it though, because of the scheming part. I thought they did a really good job. Yeah, when McMillan gets back, that's right, Gotti. With I'm sad that we'll probably never get to see Egbuke, Evans, and Godwin on the field at the same time. But it's the new Oh, look, I'm sweating over here. It's the new generation, like you said, man. Like Bouquet, Tej Johnson, McMillan, Cameron Johnson, Ryan Miller. Although Ryan Miller really kind of just disappeared. We need to get him off special teams. I'll tell you that. You still staying with balls? Yeah, the NBA players. Yeah, a lot of them, man. It's like, oof. And unfortunately, they were like throwing games. I mean, it's like, and there's a weird thing. I haven't really looked into it a whole lot, but it was like the mafia had this uh, card room. They were like doing cards with players and coaches and stuff and cheating. And there's all that kind of weird stuff. It's like, what is going on? How is it that these guys make millions of dollars and they're going to gamble and cheat? It's just like, it doesn't make any sense, right? The thing, Marty, and I've talked about this ever since we've done the podcast, is the NFL they're the only major sports league in the world that's never had an officiating scandal. I find that very, very hard to believe. I think the NFL is just very, very good at covering crap up. I think they keep so much stuff in house. There's just no way. There's no way that there's never been a referee that's been throwing games or something. We've never had a Pete Rose. Never had that I know of. I mean, there might be a coach or a player that's been busted, but I can't think of anybody. I've heard of guys that have gotten in trouble for gambling, but not on their own teams or throwing games and stuff. But every other league, you get that. You might be right. It might be that one person can't really throw a game like they can in the NBA and stuff. We got another Johnson, so it's going to be Johnson, Johnson, and Johnson. We're going to sound like a legal firm. That's true, Gotti. NFL is just one long officiating scandal. Oh, that's funny. I mean, there have been games where I've been like, man, the refs have got to be betting on the other team or something. We've had quite a few games where I've been like, there's got to be something. But how would you know? I mean, I don't know. The whole NFL officiating thing is it's not opaque at all. It's not transparent, like they don't, like last year when they demoted all those referees back to the college for reasons. They didn't say why, And then remember a couple years ago when a whole bunch of the veteran officials retired just like out of the blue. It was like, we don't get no explanation for none of this stuff. And, they do these performance reviews supposedly with the officials where, they go through and they grade all the officials on every game. And then their grades are what get them playoff spots, right? But nobody gets to see those grades. I want to know. I want that laid out. I want to know what it is. I think that fans should be, like when you get an officiating crew, because I keep track of all the officiating crews every week. And I want to know what guys are good, because there's certain guys, the sideline judge or the line judges and the back judges, they all got different responsibilities. Like if you're going to get a holding call, it's generally going to come from a side judge. The back judge is in charge of watching the quarterback. So, if there's a late hit on a quarterback, something like that, it's going to be from him. So certain penalties, you can kind of say that it's certain referee spots, and certain different referees in those spots are going to be better or worse than other referees. And I'd kind of like to know, what the grades of these guys all are. But we don't get that, which is weird to me. They keep all that in-house. Who did we pick up? Johnson. Let me see. Johnson, Johnson, and Johnson. We're no longer the healthcare product Johnson and Johnson. We are now the law firm Johnson, Johnson and Johnson. um, There's a whole bunch of people were putting out fake NFL guys, fake news about the NFL guys getting busted for gambling. It's like everybody that didn't like somebody, a player on their team or another team, they were like putting out, so and so was busted for gambling. So there was all kinds of stuff flying around the internet today. Yeah, with Hassan Reddick getting hurt, I don't think we're going to see much of a drop off at all. Oh, San Francisco Chronicles has an article out on Doug Martin in his final months. Interesting. I have to read that. I'd bet money that it's drugs. Oh, did y'all see that Teddy Bridgewater was on the injury report today, which we have a very long injury report for tooth? I think it either said tooth or teeth. I can't remember, but I was like, I have never seen an injury report, somebody on the injury report for tooth. Vita Vea was added today with a foot injury. Goodness. I know. I have to look that up later. I'm not seeing anything on the new Johnson, so I don't know who it is. But it's a practice squad guy. Yeah. Right now, our practice squad guys are going to step it up because we're going to be needing some of those guys, like our outside linebackers, probably some wide receivers, some offensive linemen. We got clobbered with injuries this year. Chauncey Billups, $35 million. Yeah, I don't understand it, Tom. I've never been a gambler. I've known people that are gambling addicts. My mom was one of them, but I've never gotten into it. I'm one of those guys that as soon as I'm up, even if it's up by $5, I'm walking away. I'm like, hey, I won $5. But yeah, I couldn't see, having $35 million in gambling. It's just weird. Oh, Baker calling out the refs in his conference. He did get kneed in the head, and that wasn't called. He did get tripped. That wasn't called. And something else, too, happened to him. I think he's right. They're supposed to be there for crap like that. And those things were kind of blatant. And they called silly stuff that, like the Jamel Dean illegal contact. I mean, that was. And then on the broadcast, the official in the booth was all like, oh yeah, Dean stepped into his path. They're going to call that every, 9 out of 10 times or whatever. I was like, no, he didn't step in the guy's path. The guy ran at him. But yeah, I don't have a problem with Baker saying that the refs suck or saying that he hates the Saints. He came out and said that today, that they played dirty and he hates them. I was like, ooh, I love it. I've been complaining about that for years, how there's just no more billboard talk anymore. Guys get up there and they're like, oh, the Saints are a great team and they've got a good defense and blah, 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 blah. Used to, man, guys would get up on the podium or in the locker room and be like, yeah, screw those guys. They suck. Baker's doing it, man. I love it. Yeah, Marty, I don't have a problem at all with it. He did get kneed in the head, and it should have been called. And he got tripped. And there was something else too, but I can't remember what it was. All right, Craig, take it easy. I got to get out of here too. Yeah, if we lose Vita, we in bad trouble. And he popped up on the injury report with a foot injury. Don't want to see that, man. Do not want to see that. Baker, bro. He caught, Baker, I would say that. And, we could have challenged that because to me, he caught that ball and it came out like way after he'd already been contacted. He was down. He had possession. We could have challenged that. We should have challenged it. I don't know if they would have gave it to us, but it looked like a catch to me. When you watch it, not looking at the injury and him being knocked out and everything, he caught that ball. He was down. And it didn't come out until he completely rolled over and he was passed out at that point. And it just kind of plopped out. Giving the Italian mob info. Yeah, why would you want to mess with the mob, man? The Chargers collapse? Are they collapsing? I haven't really paid much attention to them. I think he was unconscious, Baker. He was definitely unconscious. If you look at his legs, they did that stiff thing that you'll see boxers do. In his eye, he was out, and I think the ball just kind of came out. But he had it, and he went to the ground, and he was touched, and he rolled, and he still had it when he rolled, but when he came out the other side, it came out. So at what point do you say, if he would have been conscious and threw it out, they wouldn't have said it wasn't a catch. They would have said, oh, it was him just getting rid of the ball after he was down. And it was kind of like that. It could have gone either way. I think we should have challenged it, though. Chargers have been a frustrating team forever because, they always end up getting great players and then just kind of fizzling. It's weird. And they'll always have a great team and be right on the edge of being good and then just hit a brick wall. All right, I got to get out of here. I got dinner ready for me and I got to take a shower. So guys, be on the lookout for the video. Hopefully I'll be able to get it done and, do a good breakdown on what they did schematically that really messed with us and what we didn't do schematically because we didn't do anything to try to shut down their guys or nothing. We just played our defense that we always play. And offensively, we were very, very, very vanilla in this game. It just seemed like we just didn't put a lot, and I don't want to say didn't put a lot of effort because I know these guys try and they work hard on it, but it didn't feel like this game was that important to us as far as like this big scheme of things. I don't know. Maybe there's some method to the madness. I don't know. Because he does this every year, it seems like. Anyhow, I got to get off of here. Guys, I appreciate it. And till next time, go Bucks.